Well, with me, J.J. Dillon, the Long Riders, and you, Mr. Dillon, if I were you, I'd be watching my back everywhere I could, because you've got Dick Slater after you. You've got the World Tag Team Champion.
Excuse me, Mr. Crocker, with all due respect to you, I've got some things to say to Dick Slater. And Slater, I'm sick and tired of you getting on my case. You see, there's no place in my stable for misfits like you. And it's obvious that the medical staff at Duke University would have a field day with you, because you're a walking example of what happens to people that suffered cranial damage from being dropped on their head by people like my Long Riders. Now, you talk about being in Texas. I've spent time in Texas. I've been all over the world. You remind me of one of those maverick stallions where they put a rope around his neck and they tie a stake to the ground and they let him run around in circles till his tongue is hanging out. And I made the mistake of not leaving you enough slack to let you run around that ring post. Slater, I have it from reliable sources that you were nothing but a bully from the time that you were a little kid. And your daddy used to hog-tie you in the outhouse so as to keep you out of reform school. And every time anybody dangles a rope in front of you, you get paranoid. Well, you keep messing with me, and I'm going to turn my boys loose, because up to now I've had a little bit of compassion for you. But my patience is running very, very thin. And if people like Steamboat decide to come to your side, you stuck that ugly kisser up in the screen and showed that mushed-in nose of yours, well, that pretty-looking Steamboat is going to look as ugly as you are, and it's only the beginning. Because if you start challenging me, one of these days you're going to tempt me to take this jacket off. And, Cowboy, I hope it doesn't get to that, because I know you got some big plans for the...
Don't you worry one little bit about him ever putting his filthy hands on you again. I seen the guy come out here and he's dressed like us. He's trying to call himself a Texan now. He goes out there and he says he's going to be using his boots. He wants to use his belts. Well, brother, we've been doing that ever since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, friend. If you want to fight, you've come to the right place, because we don't back up from nobody. If you want to get a rope, well, my friend, I've got another little surprise for you. I've got one that's about 10 foot long. It's got a 7-pound ball bell right in the middle, my friend. And so if you want to get mean, if you want to get nasty, we can tie that to you if you want to, my friend. And let me tell you, I have never in my life lost a bull rope match, my friend. Never. Now then, if you want just a little bit more, myself and Bart can take off these boots and we can drive them right where you don't want to have them, no boy. And if you just want to keep on chasing J.J. Dillon, that's exactly what's going to happen, my friend.
Don't you ever put your hands on me again. Never, Slater.
We're going to
Never, Slater.
We'll see you next week on the best Worldwide Wrestling.
Worldwide Wrestling is a presentation of the JCP Sports Network and has been furnished to the station for broadcast at this time in exchange for